Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. You're still watching KBC Channel 1. My name is Mike Miguel. Let's now talk matters education. We've done with politics. Now let's delve into matters education. Today we're looking at how we can bridge the gap in education and create avenues for the youth. And with me in studio is Ambassador Henriette Giga, who is EU Ambassador to Kenya and Permanent Representative to the UNEP and UN Habitat. Welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Morning
Good morning.
to you.
Thanks for inviting us.
Karibu sana. And also there is Dr. Darlene Ikirima, who is an awardee of the 2025 to 2027 Erasmus Plus Mundus program. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
And also Lina Mkoji, who is an alumni of the same program that was between 2016 and 2018.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Karibu sana, karibu sana. Let's talk about going to study abroad, and I want to engage you, Madam Ambassador, on why Kenyan students should consider Europe as a destination for their higher studies.
Yes, the European Union has been providing opportunities for a very long time, both for scholarships and also paid stays and studies. And the European Union, as an entity of 27 member states, has a joint program called Erasmus, which offers a whole host of different opportunities for students and universities. But on top of that, most of our 27 member states have also bilateral programs to promote studies in Europe. So traditionally here in Kenya, the offer was focused mostly on English-speaking countries like the US, UK, Australia, Canada. And what the EU has to offer was not very well known. But in recent years, all the programs at the universities in Europe have converted to English. And so it's completely open to the Kenyan student population without learning another language. So, and the EU has so many opportunities, and with our Erasmus program, we are basically offering more than 300 different programs to potential scholars from Kenya, fully funded with a full and the most generous scholarship that I know.
When you say fully funded, everything is catered for, from travel expenses, processing of papers, education and stay.
Yes, and that is very important because there are so many schemes around and people are duped into paying money and then nothing happens. But here, the whole process is online. So we talked about corruption. There's no chance for any corruption in the process because you get your information online, you do your research online, and the whole process of applying and getting accepted is online. So there's no chance of any interference whatsoever, and you don't have to pay any fees. So even the insurance, health insurance, travel, visa, everything is covered.
Have you at any point engaged with the Ministry of Education within this space now?
Several times. That was one of my first calls when I came here. So I spoke with the minister at the time and the PSs, and we also have a contact person in the education ministry who's supposed to be our entry point and multiplier. But due to the many changes, the information gets lost all the time. So we have to do refreshers, which I'm doing also. And so this Friday we have a send-off for the scholars, more than 30 who go out this year at our embassy. And so the PS Higher Education has confirmed that she will come. And we also, when you have the annual rectors conference and the vice chancellors conference of all the universities. We routinely go there and wave the flag and tell them, but somehow we haven't managed to get the information to all the students in Kenya.
Mm-hmm. Lina, you're an alumni of such a program, that is Erasmus Plus.
Yeah.
How would you say it impacted your higher learning journey?
So, as the ambassador has mentioned, the scholarship is fully funded. So I really did not have to think about or worry about how my studies would go, because it was fully funded, and I got a stipend as well. So I know in Kenya we usually have the HELB loans, but it doesn't fully cover the fees. So some students usually are not able to complete their studies. Something else that this program has impacted me or shown me is that for higher education, we can actually do something together, co-create together with our lecturers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the program is not fixed, like the lecturer stands there and just speaks to us or tells us or gives us information. These programs are usually tailored to have this dialogue sort of and co-creating content for education. Mm-hmm. So a student is not just a student being told or given information, but they are also able to give their feedback and their opinion about a subject. Yeah. And
when it comes to knowing about these opportunities, how did you learn about this information, given that not many really Kenyans know about these scholarship programs?
Research. I was online a lot looking for scholarships at that time. That was in 2015, and I wanted, because I'm an aviation, I have an aviation background, so I was trying to, and tourism, I was trying to look for a course outside Kenya that would cater for my funding and was focused on sustainable tourism. So of course online I got several courses, some were in the UK, and I had to apply for the Commonwealth Scholarship, which was very, I'm sorry to say, but very hectic and not so easy. So, and then again, I came across now this Erasmus course that was offering tourism management that was fully funded, and it looked interesting because there was a lot of traveling, moving from country to country, as is how the Erasmus program is tailored. And yeah, I took a chance and I applied. So it was really a matter of doing my own research.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of just being on the lookout.
Being on the lookout?
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Daktari Delin Ikirima, you're an awardee of such a program. And you're set to start your studies soon. So how was the process for you, and what are you looking forward in terms of what you're going to study?
The process started in February. Actually, the course I'm going to study is new. It launched this year, so the first edition. And when I learned about it, I learned through an advert on Facebook. So there's much more that goes into social media than just, you know, the regular that happens. There's a lot of even information about education. So I came through across a post about Erasmus Mundus. So I was like, what is this about? You know, I kind of ignored it for a while. And then later on, I was like, okay, now I need to find out, because, you know, I'm very curious. So I went on YouTube and I searched about it. I went on Facebook. There's so many pages, Erasmus Mundus Kenya, Erasmus Mundus Nigeria, and there's so much information on these pages that many people don't know about. And then I went to TikTok, because I love TikTok, and I Googled and I searched for Erasmus Mundus, and Lena came up. And then she talked to me about it. She was like, oh, it's a good opportunity. I think she'll do it. And also, being a health humanitarian, I was really looking for something that will push me beyond just being in Kenya. So the process was quite simple for me, I would say, because I was very committed and I'm passionate about the things I love to do. So when I saw the course about humanitarian response, health and displacement, I was like, this is where I belong. I loved everything they had to offer. Also, I went through the associated partners. These are partners that come together to even help in funding the program and even giving us internships. So I found partners like Red Cross, and I was like, this is amazing. This is exactly where I want to be. So the process was quite simple for me. It was long. It needed a lot of commitment and time and paperwork, but in the end, it all worked out.
It all worked out.
Yes.
Indeed. Now, Madam Ambassador, when you look at these learning opportunities, of course they are there and people are applying, those that have benefited. But then again, what are the opportunities in terms of career? How does it look like in terms of accessing employment, especially in Europe?
Yeah. So first of all our alumni do fantastic careers out of this. They develop in amazing ways, whether it's here in Kenya or in Europe. So some decided they want to stay in Europe, but of course our idea is that most come back to help develop the country. But whether they are in Europe or they are here in Kenya, they all made a fantastic career out of it. And there are opportunities in Europe.
Okay.
Now there's
Allow me to cut you short.
Yeah,
Let's
sure.
take a very short break. We'll be right back. You'll continue on that point about opportunities in Europe. Thank you. Let's take a very short break. Don't go too fast. Stay with us. You're still watching Good Morning Kenya right here on KBC Channel 1. We are talking about creating education avenues for the youth. And before we went on a break, Madam Ambassador, you're talking about career prospects for students who come from Kenya and study abroad, especially within Europe. How is the landscape? How accessible are these employment opportunities?
Yeah. So after the Erasmus program, the students have the possibility to do a one-year internship if they wish. And of course, you know that the age pyramids in Kenya and in Africa in general and in Europe are inverted. So here you have plenty of young people and then few old. And in Europe, it's the other way. Very few young people and a lot of old people. And that creates millions of jobs that cannot be filled, especially in the engineering, digital, high-tech sector, but also in the area of healthcare, nursing, etc. So, and then I think if you have an internship and you show your worth, the companies will be very happy to retain you and sponsor you for visa. Also, Germany and Austria, they have concluded a labor migration agreement with Kenya. So there is a mechanism in place to facilitate people to work in Europe. And Germany just started a new visa which allows Kenyans and others from around the globe to come on a one-year job search visa to Germany. So they can even apply without a job to come and search for a job. So that's a completely new facility, but of course you have to apply and you have to show that you have something to contribute. So you have to show a certain skill level that is of interest to the labor market in Germany. But for example, in Austria, I saw the list of missing personnel in more than 100 job categories, more than 100 professions have a scarcity. And in Europe nowadays, there are many services which are no longer available because of scarcity of personnel. Wow. So they just shorten the hours of attending and providing the service. And of course, it has gotten very expensive. There are also professional recruitment agencies here from Europe, and they get a lot of money by searching here individual talent. It's a bit like the footballers, right? Yeah. So you have those sort of headhunters also for multinational companies from Europe. They are active here in Kenya. So there is plenty of opportunity for qualified Kenyans. And to start with the education there is the ideal departure point, I think.
Yeah. Lina, what was it like studying in an environment away from Kenya, different countries, different institutions?
Thanks for the question. So it was really, first of all, we studied in more than 2 countries. So in Denmark, they were very, very strict. Don't come to class late, even 1 minute, you're late. The exams are also different. We did oral exams rather than written exams. And that was my first semester in Europe, so that was really, really different for me. And then also there was a lot of those weather changes because the first semester is usually in September as we head into winter. So in Denmark, the darkness comes quite early. So and also the daylight would be also late. So for me, sometimes if I don't set the alarm clock, I wouldn't know it's 9 o'clock in the morning. I would sleep in. Things like that are very interesting. In Slovenia, it was more relaxed. That's why I had my second semester, and the weather was also getting nicer and nicer. And
because it was spring then.
Exactly, it was spring. So a lot of flowers, and guys are also outside. They want to be outside. It's sunnier. And it's a country that you would want to explore. It's very mountainous, very green. So that's where we were also very outgoing and wanting to, see more of Europe. And the last country was Spain, so which is even more sunnier and nicer. And we like, I was interested to see, the way they talk about the siesta. They close up shop in the afternoons to take naps and stuff, and it actually happened. Yeah. So it was really interesting to rather only focusing on education, but just also seeing how other people are living, how they interact with their own challenges in their own countries. Like, for example, the weather during winter, guys are very gloomy, but during summer, people are very happy. And yeah, it made the education and learning very nice. Yeah.
Dr. Delin, how do you see this scholarship now that you're getting into, changing your perspective in terms of how people study, especially here in Kenya?
To be honest, I was exposed before, so I did my first master's in the UK. So I already had an idea of what it is and the feel of what Europe has to offer. And I did my first degree here in Kenya. So I can definitely say that there's a very big change, especially when it comes to, apart from just the environment, the weather and the people, even the delivery of the message. And for me, particularly what I'm going to study, it's giving me more field work. And like I said, being the humanitarian field, it's exposing me more. I'm getting to learn more about what it means to be a humanitarian outside Kenya, outside Africa. So it's a broader perspective for me. It's a better platform for me. It's a huge stepping stone for me. And even getting to understand that, especially this being a new program that was just launched this year, we have around 100 vacancies for 4 editions. So for me, this is going to change a lot because it's giving me a better lens to look at in terms of my career prospects, and also in terms of planning what's next for me. In terms of, do I still want to continue moving around? I'm able to see what Cape Verde has to offer, what Portugal has to offer, what Uganda has to offer, which is amazing because I didn't even know African countries are actually involved in the whole Erasmus Mundus. So I'm really happy that even I get to also enjoy what my fellow country like Uganda has to offer. So definitely it will broaden my perspective in very many ways. Yeah.
Madam Ambassador, looking at this mostly master's program, are there opportunities for undergraduates, especially from Kenya, to go and study in Europe in such a manner that it's EU funded? Yes.
So we have other programs inside the Erasmus family. First of all, I want to say Erasmus is a European program, first and foremost. So the mainstay is that all European students in Europe, they study in a country that is not their country of birth. So some years ago, visionaries in the EU decided they want to open this experience to partners. So Erasmus is a huge conveyor belt in Europe, and the students from other countries, they join that conveyor belt. So it's not that they're alone traveling around in Europe. They join European students who do exactly the same, right? But the master's is our main program, but we also have programs of university to university cooperation, whereby you can have exchanges at the undergraduate level also, but that depends on the university's cooperation. We also have some programs in the TVET sector, and the latest addition is sports. But there, this is not as developed. The master's is our most developed program.
How does it differ when it comes to, you've mentioned TVETs and even areas of sport. How does it differ from the master's program?
Yeah, we haven't developed that here in Kenya yet, the TVET and the sports. So I cannot provide you more information right now, but my ambition is that we broaden this much beyond. So we do mostly the masters and then university to university collaboration. For example, we are planning to design jointly with the European University at the University of Nairobi a program in European Studies, a master. So this has been our focus so far. But my ambition is to broaden it into the TVET and sports, but I cannot tell you that we have done that here in Kenya yet.
Yes. You know, are there academic disciplines that receive priorities when it comes to these programs?
Yeah, there was a big discussion in Brussels, in our headquarters, whether we should custom tailor it to the needs of the country and also our priorities of cooperation with the country. And we decided not, because that would cut out so many students. For example, here we are focusing on green transition, environment, and digitization. So the two of them would be automatically excluded already because their field of interest is different. And so we said we want to promote actively people who want to study environment sciences and digitization, but the program is open to everybody. And since it's online, we cannot control who's applying and who's successful.
Yes.
So there is a very soft targeting, let's say.
And have you worked with other institutions apart from what you're saying about the University of Nairobi? Other institutions of higher learning in Kenya, what do they stand to gain from this?
They, if they partner with a European university, and that is basically the initiative of the university itself. The university has to have the initiative and reach out. And once they do that, we can then fund. But they have to develop a concept. What do we want to do together? And there are several universities who have been successful. Even up-country, there are universities who were a lead applicant. That means they are the ones who are responsible for the overall concept and program. So I think we have about a dozen universities here in Kenya that are involved in one way or another. But again, the sky is the limit. Since there's no cap, basically every university could do that and also get professors in for certain disciplines or sending professors out. And you were talking before about the different style of university teaching. In Europe, it's much more an academic exercise that depends on the self-interest of the person. So you yourself determine the content. It's not like in school where you get a lecture and then you go home and you have to repeat what was given to you. It's not like that. It's much more self-driven, and it's supposed to awaken your academic interest, awaken your intellect to develop your own research and delve into the subject matter. And I think this is very interesting concept, because I think the world needs more of that, because that creates innovation. So talking about innovation, the EU also has the largest public research fund in the world. And Kenya, as all other partner countries, can fully get that money as long as they partner with a university or research institute in Europe. And there's even money specially set aside for Africa that nobody else can touch.
Wow.
And unfortunately, both for the Erasmus scholarships and the research pot, Africa is not putting the hand too much into it.
Wow.
So I wish that Kenya would just take a bigger portion out of the pot, both for the scholarships and the research money.
Lina, how has this, from your perspective, how has this, do you feel like having gone through such a scholarship opened you up to opportunities globally?
Yes, because we've mentioned that it's a global scheme, right? So even in our classes, it's a multicultural environment. So we have classmates from all over the world, and whenever we part ways, we can still do projects together. For example, myself, with my Greek classmate, we've done a lot of projects within Eastern Africa, and through actually the Erasmus funding as alumni. Yeah, so it really exposes us for sure to, to meet lecturers from abroad. You can do your research while in Kenya, but having a supervisor who's abroad, because you've made these connections. And yeah, working together for projects, creating or coming up with NGOs and things like that to support the development of our countries. Yeah.
Dr. Delene, what are your expectations, given now that you're going to study in different countries, different cultures, different environments?
To be honest, I'm very open-minded and I adapt very easily. So after this, I expect to have better networking channels. I'm currently already doing a research. We currently went through a protest in Kenya. I was one of the who are the frontline medical workers. So for me, I expect to live there with better knowledge, or rather better ways of how to especially handle when it comes to such extremities, such extreme disasters that happen in our countries, or even wherever I'm going to be, possibly maybe Cape Verde or Portugal. And I'm also expecting to have a better placement in terms of my career. So I'm expecting now, having Erasmus Mundus on your name is a very big thing. I came to realize that, especially when I was applying for my visa. Because the moment I would mention Erasmus Mundus, it was like, straightforward. You know, they knew what it's about. They know the weight of having Erasmus Mundus in your CV, in your scholarship, in what you do in life. So I think for me, I'm expecting more than what I already have in terms of broadening where I want to be, my opportunities especially. And even growing in terms of understanding more about NGOs, and that is really where I'm getting into. So I'm hoping by the end of 2027 that I'll be at a better place to even do more.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let's take a very short break. We'll be right back to continue with this conversation. If you're just switching on your TV and you're watching KBC Channel 1, this is a Good Morning Kenya. We're talking about creating opportunities for education avenues for the youth. Now, Lina, you have been a part of that scholarship. You have benefited from that scholarship. Now,
Yes.
the question that I have for you is, how are you helping other Kenyans to access these opportunities?
So I got the scholarship way back in 2016. And in my class, I was the only African out of 35 students. So with that also came a lot of stereotyping. They would think, personally, I don't run. So as a Kenyan, they would expect they add me into groups to run in the morning with them, and I'm like, no, especially in Denmark. Yeah, during winter. So there was a lot of stereotyping, and I was wondering, how come I'm the only African in my class? It doesn't make sense. So I found out we have the Erasmus Mundus Association, which is now the alumni association for all the scholars who have received the scholarship. And I joined the association, and I looked into the Kenyan page, very few people. And I decided that year, that was 2017, to run to be the representative for Eastern Africa. So I was...
So you were running.
I ran somehow, so to speak, yeah. So I became the Eastern representative for the African chapter of the association.
Yeah.
And there are 10 countries within East Africa in that association. So it included Djibouti, Somalia, Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Seychelles, and just the eastern part of Africa. So I won, and I decided, okay, I basically sort of made it my life's mission to make sure that many more people know about the program. So I came to Kenya, I think, still in 2017 or 18, early. I went to KU, my alma mater, Kenyatta University, and I had the first session there, and I told the school about it. And actually, from there, my tourism department in Kenyatta University signed a contract with the University of Girona in Spain, where I studied, for my tourism master. So right now there are students who are benefiting from the partnership. So every year I think 4 students go to Europe for a short period of around 3 months for their masters. So master's students, undergrad and PhD, can do these short exchanges if universities have the partnerships. Other than that, I also do like consulting of sorts on TikTok. I have a page where I speak to students or other potential candidates who want to apply for scholarships or who want to study abroad, and that's how I met Darlene actually. She reached out to me after watching some of my videos and wanted to know more about it, and actually involved her dad, who was very inquisitive about the whole process.
Yes.
and everything. So and along with other alumni, we have our country representative. She's called Nduta, who lives in Portugal now, but she's also doing a lot of outreach. Even if she's abroad, she's doing it on YouTube, talking about the scholarship. So we really try as much as possible to make sure that our number is increasing, and hopefully we support the ambassador in reaching her goal of having more than 100 students from Kenya in a year, yes, accessing the master's scholarships. So I still do it, and I continue doing this outreach, of course, partnering with the delegation, yes, to make sure that Kenya stands out in terms of applications and in terms of numbers, because we really face a lot of competition from other countries within Africa, like Ethiopia and Nigeria. They are always in the triple digits, 200, 300. And we have the potential here in Kenya. It's just that maybe sometimes we need a little bit of a push. We are always on our phones. We love, being on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, but we can also use these platforms for learning and improving our lives. So rather than the memes and comedy that we really love so much, I think we can use those platforms also to just promote fantastic opportunities like Erasmus.
Okay. Now, Madam Ambassador, in terms of inclusivity and looking at these scholarship programs, how inclusive are they? And I'm talking from the perspective of people with disabilities.
Yeah, so in Europe, we have very strict regulations for inclusivity. So all universities have to be equipped to deal with any type of disability. And the Erasmus has no barriers to people with different disabilities. So anybody can apply, and if they're successful, they will be treated like any other student on academic merit. And if they're successful, they will be catered for so they can succeed in their program. So, but I would like to not only talk about the disability, but about socio-economic fairness.
Yes.
Because the fact that there are no payments required, and you can apply from any point in Kenya, northeastern, western, wherever you are, makes sure that everybody has the same departure point and everybody has the same opportunity, no matter where he or she is and what her or his economic background is. And I think I'm very proud that the European Union is offering that, because that helps to broaden the development in Kenya. So education is not just for the rich. Everybody should have the same opportunity. And I think in countries where there's a high level of inequality, there's a lot of talent that cannot develop due to economic hardship. And that is a shame for a country, because you need all the talent. You need all the talent. Nobody should be excluded for economic reasons. That's why I think Erasmus Mundus is helping also in the beyond disability to have inclusive education.
What is the window of application? When mostly do these programs run?
Yeah, so opening of application is in October, but students who want to apply for the next fall semester, so in October, applications start for the next year, so 2026 September. So it takes, so the application period varies program by program, but all of them start only in October. But you have to already get your CV, your motivation letter, the recommendation letters from the professors. You have to do your research, which program is of interest to you. So by the time application opens, you're ready to upload all your documents and you know where you want to go. And then it ends somewhere in the spring, European spring. The earliest ones who are closing are in January or February, and then it goes, I think, until March or so. And then you get, in that period from March onwards, you get either the admission or the rejection. So then you have time to prepare for your departure in the European summer. So most universities start in September. So now October, for next year September.
Dr. Delene, how would you advise someone who wants to take the same path that you have taken? They want to study abroad, they want to explore the opportunities, education opportunities there, and even employment opportunities outside there.
I would say, first of all, like the ambassador had mentioned, self-discipline is very important during the whole process. It's all about your personal motivation. And I've sat in many circles where people would say, oh, your papers don't work. And it's unfortunate that in the society we live in, that it's about who knows who that gets a job. If you know this person, you get a job. But then Erasmus Mundus gives you an opportunity. You with your papers, your A+ counts, your A* counts, your B even counts. You know, sometimes it's always down to the motivation behind why you're applying and what is pushing you towards that application. So I would say that I know so many people who have done extremely well. They have such huge talent, but then they've ended up being maybe just, you know, maybe selling just clothes, you know, because they have lacked that opportunity to advance their career. But then Erasmus Mundus is here and it's offering an opportunity to say, you know what, that paper works, that paper counts, that merit actually means something to somebody out there. So I would advise anybody that, you know, is motivated and really wants to just explore and be out there, and you're saying you want a stepping stone to be a better person in terms of your career and even your personal growth, Erasmus Mundus is completely the best platform for this kind of talent, you know, because we don't get recognized, and it's unfortunate that that's a society that has been slowly growing, you know. And now you're getting a place where they're telling you know what, come with your papers, we look at your papers, we look at your passion, we look at your motivation, and if it works, then we're ready to give you a full scholarship, and that's absolutely amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lina, your message to Kenyans.
Be proactive. Opportunities are out there. At least right now, since you've been watching us, you know there's Erasmus Mundus. The window is opening in October, so please start, you know, going through the Erasmus Mundus catalog. I hope it's going to be shared on the platform here. Erasmus Mundus scholarship for 2025. The window is opening in October, so you start preparing, finding the course that you would want to apply for. Do your research and really think about your motivation. Why are you interested in getting this scholarship? As Darlene has mentioned, it's really all comes down to that, because most of these scholarships, the programs don't do interviews. It comes down to your motivation. So what are you bringing to the table?
Okay.
What are you bringing to the table, and what are you maybe going to do when you come back home?
Okay. As we wind up, what is the future of European-funded scholarship, especially within Kenya and Africa at large?
Well, if you ask me what the future is, I see only unlimited potential. Unlimited potential, and my ambition as ambassador is to use that potential to the fullest. So I think that we can expand much beyond the masters. I want to grow the masters beyond 100 students every year, master students going out. But I also want to grow the university-to-university collaboration. And what we said before, the TVET and the sports angle, to make it much broader, because in Kenya we have a huge youth bulge. The latest figures I saw, 2 million every year entering the job market. At max, 200,000 get a job. How about the rest? So this is a huge challenge for any society, and if the EU can help a little bit, but also our member states, they have also scholarships like Hungary. They send every year 200 students to Hungary, 200 from Kenya. Very little known. So Germany has other programs, France, everybody. So it's a matter of doing the research and looking for it. But I think we have to broaden also into the TVET field. So we're not only focusing on academia.
All right. Thank you so much. Ambassador Henriette Giga, who is the EU ambassador to Kenya and permanent representative to the UNEP and UN Habitat. Also been talking to Lina Mkoji, who is an alumni of Erasmus Plus Mundus program, and also Dr. Darlene Ikirima, who is an awardee of the same program. She's set to start her studies 2025 to 2027. This is where we end this conversation. Stay with us. My name is Mike Megwe. Vivian Ndegwa is up next with Women at the Forefront.